beyond betrayed. They used us. They actually, during the campaign, and I don't want to make this political, but during the campaign, the elected officials from the Republican Party, they actually told us that it was not going to touch the documented people.
If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play.
Hey, you guys, it's Life of Nikki Lee podcast. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're doing well and living your fullest every day. So, you guys, we got to talk about it. Yesterday, you had the 250th celebration of the Army, which was also he can be your president. He's certainly not mine. He had his birthday parade on yesterday, you guys, and it was very interesting. There were over 1,900 No Kings protests that took place across the country. And I just have to say that I was very impressed. I was very impressed by the amount of people that showed up for these protests. Y'all, they were not having it, okay? They were not having it. And honestly, as crazy and dark as times have been in this country, it's kind of heartwarming to see people come together. And here's something else. I actually saw a good handful of Black people come out there. Now, I know out there in Philadelphia, they showed up. They represented. I was so happy. I saw one of Martin Luther King's relatives out there. He gave a nice speech. There was a pastor that came out. He revved up the crowd. He gave an amazing speech as well. And you saw so many people coming together. It was very heartwarming, and I love that. And I'll tell you something else I saw. You know, a few MAGA nuts, and that's what I'm calling you guys, because you guys are nuts. A few MAGA nuts showed up. They came out here to the protest to obviously, antagonize the crowd of protesters. And, wanted to obviously stir up some stuff and make them upset. Protesters out there, whenever you go out and you are having these meetings, please don't interact with these clowns. They just want to put you on camera. They just want to annoy you. They just want to agitate you. They just want to be able to say, hey, look how the left is acting. Look how these people are. And the whole time, these fools don't realize, you all are the problem in this divided country. You sit here and you talk about liberal this and Democrats this and, you guys are brainwashed. No, MAGA is a brainwashed cult, and you can't tell me any different, because anytime you all are okay with a complete, unstable tyrant being in office who has done his own fair share of crimes that you choose to overlook, but then you get upset and try to, antagonize a group of protesters. Where was that energy on January the 6th? You want to sit here and say who's unstable and who's doing this. But the people who showed up to the Capitol on January 6th were patriots? Get out of here. You all have the nerve to show up as this group who are supposed to be Christian-like, and you love your country and you support the president. No, you're what you're doing is called idolatry. You're putting a clown on a pedestal instead of saying, is this the right way, or is this the humane way to treat people in our country? You want to completely idolize someone who is absolutely against that, who cares nothing about being humane, who cares nothing about running this country strong and forward and unifying our people instead of dividing them. And I don't want to speak it into existence, but I feel like amongst the other stuff going on in this world, America being so divided within itself, I feel like we're on the verge of a civil war on our own land. And that is so sad. In 2025, y'all let this makeup wearing clown sit up here, never thrown a punch in his life, just talks a bunch of crap, can barely hold his piss. But you guys want to sit up and you guys want to put this man on a pedestal to the point where you all are going along with these ridiculous ideologies. And this man is trying to strip America down to the bare bone. Face it, America has never been great. America has never been great. You all have leaders like this and you think that you're going to be great? You're delusional. And I'm proud of the protesters for showing up. And for MAGA, who decided to, try to agitate the situation, you just want to piss these people off. So don't be surprised when you get met with the same energy that you all give. Because everyone knows how aggressive and how unhinged MAGA is. And speaking of which, condolences and prayers to the loved ones of Representative Hortman and her husband. She's a lawmaker from Minnesota. Her and her husband were unfortunately unalived in their home yesterday by a guy, I believe his name is Lance or Vance Bowler or something like that. They already found the guy. And this guy was impersonating a cop. He showed up to Representative Hortman's house and he assassinated her and her husband. And when the cop showed up, the real cop showed up and they confronted him, he shot one of the cops. And also, Senator Hoffman and his wife were shot as well. Now, both of them are expected to recover. And from what I heard, I think they're okay. But unfortunately, Representative Hortman and her husband are no longer. So if you want to talk about what the left is doing, sweetheart, we're not doing anything like that. You have clowns like this guy right here showing up, impersonating an officer, killing Democratic leaders. So if you want to know how far the rabbit hole goes with how devious MAGA is and all these people who support Trump, look at stuff like that. And even if he didn't order it himself, Trump is the reason why a lot of this stuff is happening. These people feel emboldened to go out and commit these kind of crimes. But you all don't want to acknowledge that. Of course, Americans are hurt. They're pissed off. They don't like seeing them and their loved ones lose everything that they've worked so hard for. Now, discussing the illegals, do I think illegals should be able to come over here and, do whatever they want? Hell no. Hell no. You can be the best person there is and, work very hard. But if you didn't come over here the right way with your paperwork, you are still considered illegal. If you didn't go through the courts the right way, you are still considered illegal. Now, us as Americans, we can't go to other countries and pull in this kind of stunt because it's against the law. So people should not be able to come to America and do the same thing. No, I do not support that type of situation. I feel like illegals who did not come here the right way, they have to be escorted out. There's that. However, be that as it may, There are a lot of things that I'm seeing in America right now that are bending the rules for a lot of criminals who are not even illegal immigrants. And so where do we get to a place, America, where we can say that we are handling things with due process, which a lot of these people are being denied of, and things that back up our Constitution? Because right now we have someone who wants to be a dictator in office, and let him have his way. I think he completely wants to dismantle the Constitution. And we just can't allow that. Do I think certain things need to be amended? Absolutely. I've started with the Supreme Court, because y'all ain't shit either. The fact that they let this man in office get full immunity to do whatever the hell he wants. And then you have governors like Gavin Newsom, who are, trying to be the best leaders that they can be for their state. And because of a protest, by the way, I don't condone violence. I don't condone violent protests. I believe that is a situation that can be handled amongst law enforcement. That is what they are there for. At no given time did that law enforcement say they couldn't handle it. But Trump, hating Democrats, he wants to shove it to any Democrat leader, because he looks at Democrats like, okay, if you're not for me, you're against me. And he uses any type of manipulative and bullying tactics that he can to antagonize them, to intimidate them. This is what he does. And shout out to Governor Gavin Newsom for standing up to him. And I'm telling you, people around the world are watching this, and it's going to come down the pipeline. It's going to get to a point where more and more people are going to say, you know what? We're not listening to this fool. You're causing trouble in this country when we should never be a nation divided. A country that is divided amongst itself will not stand. You hear that saying, united we stand, divided we fall. There's a reason for that. Because what's going to happen if an outside enemy comes and does something to our country? Do you understand how weak this makes us look? And even the parade that was $45 million, that money could have went somewhere else. By all means, do celebrate our military, because they are strong and they keep us safe. But $45 million for, let's be honest, he did it for his little chauvinistic birthday parade. Come on now. And honestly, from what I saw, and hey, I have military in my family. Back in high school, I was in ROTC. I'm telling you, I've seen more enthusiastic marching and drill competitions back in my day. I really feel like a lot of the military just wasn't feeling it. I feel like a lot of the people that came out to support their family members, of course, in the military, because a lot of us do love our military. But I saw the marching, the tanks, and I just was like, wow, I don't think it should have been displayed. I don't feel like it was less than enthusiastic. I've seen other military parades, and I'll be honest, it was giving lackluster. And I really feel like, in a way, that a lot of people kind of know why he had this parade. And a lot of people weren't feeling it. And that's just an observation. And I know I'm not the only person that felt that way. So I don't know. I guess we'll just see. We'll just see what's to come down the pipeline for this country, guys. I honestly, I've never been more concerned about the state of this country than I am right now. But I also know that there's God and God alone who sits high and watches low. And he watches over all his creation. What is being done in the dark will come to the light. your leader, your precious little leader who you worship so much, MAGA, you're going to see what kind of leader you actually have. But these people, they need to conduct a study on these damn people, because I have never seen someone disregard so much BS in all my life to uphold a criminal. You guys are, you call the left insane? Well, you guys are just diabolical. I just don't know how to describe it. It's crazy. But shout out to the protesters that came out yesterday. I think it was a good show of bravery for those who are saying, you know what, you're not going to silence us. You're, hands off of our democracy. You are not going to make us go into the dark quietly. We are going to stand. We're going to let our voices be heard. And even for those of you who don't go out to these protests, you can protest from your phone. You can show support from your phone. And while we are living in these times, also be mindful. There are some crazy people about. Don't argue. Don't engage in stupidity with people, because a lot of times people do want to rile you up just to try to get you in trouble. Don't feed into that. Know where you stand on your morals and your values and stay there. And don't worry about the uncertainty of things, because God will straighten all this out. This is one nation under God, okay? Not one nation under man. And things will prevail. Justice will prevail. Democracy will prevail. And we just got to keep the faith. And to the people who out there, who support Trump, I just pray that you see him for who he truly is. And that you basically snap out of it. That's all I got for you. I wish you well. I hope all of you all are doing great. Stay prayerful, keep the faith. Don't let these things get you down. So until then, this is Nikki Lee signing out, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. Love you. Stay safe. Bye.